Hi, everyone. Welcome to another webinar in the Energy Storage Market Series. My name is Erez Dolev, and I'm the Managing Director here at RENVU. Today, we're going to be hearing from QQ Wang, Regional Sales Director at Pylontech, and Greta Gu, uh, who will introduce Force H1 and L1 battery banks from Pylontech and Pylontech's as a company. This webinar is recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel and will be available also as a podcast. We will share links to those in a follow-up email. Before we dive in, and while we're waiting for more people to join, I'd like to give a little background on RENVU and some of the products and services we offer. So RENVU is a US-based solar equipment distributor established in 2012. All of our sales engineers have engineering background. We have fulfillment facilities in California, New Jersey, and Texas. We are investing significant capital into developing online tools to make it easy to get quotes when you need to quote projects or just want to compare pricing you're getting from other sources. I'll show you one of them in a few minutes. This year, we are planning to increase significantly our inventory across the country to avoid the supply chain constraints we experienced in the last 2 years. So we'll have stable supply of commercial and residential modules, string inverters, optimizers, microinverters, batteries, racking, and other balance of system components. I'd like to spotlight a few of our popular products. Sol-Ark is the most popular hybrid inverter we carry. We keep healthy stock on their portfolio. These inverters work great with home grid and Fortress battery banks and also Pylontech low voltage batteries. If you're looking for EMP hardened inverters, we just got the Sol-Ark 15K EMP and we have the 12K EMP on the shelf. We carry a wide range of batteries, and today we will discuss the Pylontech low voltage and high voltage battery banks, which is one of the largest battery manufacturers in the world and a market leader in Europe and Asia. For cost-effective grid-tied and hybrid high-voltage energy storage inverters options, we have Solis inverters, which can be paired with Pylontech high-voltage batteries, and Growa. Lumin is a great option to transform any electrical panel into smart panel to control existing circuits without the need to add a critical load panel or replace the existing main panel. We will have a couple webinars with our team soon. For rapid shutdown, we recommend using the Tigo rapid shutdown or optimizers. And for microinverters, we carry Enphase, Generac, and AP systems. We carry power field racks that you can see here, which are a ballast solution for a ground mount. You simply position the buckets on the ground, fill them with gravel or sand, and mount the modules on them. No need to dig the ground or pour concrete. For panels, we have on the shelf multiple options, such as the Telson 400 watt black on black that you can see here. Longi 345, Recom 380, Hyperion 540 watt, and Prina 480. And we have also a large selection of incoming, including Q cells and Canadian Solar. In addition to these modules, we added recently Toledo Solar, who makes cadmium telluride solar modules, just like the first solar modules. These are made in the US and eligible for the extra 10% ITC. We are adding regularly our commercial price list, updating it with inventory and pricing we have. We are sharing a link to the live spreadsheet in the chat right now, so you can save it and revisit when you need large quantities or of modules, or when you just want to see where the market is at. I'll take a minute to also mention our Bleaky residential carport. This is a great way to expand existing solar systems or an alternative solution where you cannot install solar on a roof. Shown here is the two-car carport. There is also an option for a tandem solution, which with shared columns. So you can connect multiple of those when you need the carport for more than 2 cars. It is designed to be assembled by a crew of 2 people. It doesn't require any specialized or heavy machinery to install. This is a solar structure, so it's eligible for the 30% ITC and extra 10% for US made products. The carport is supplied with the Iron Ridge system and under panel clamps, so it accepts any solar module or inverter you want. When combined with a Blickier EPDM T-gasket, the surface becomes watertight. You can also add decorative mesh to hide the solar components and electronics, or use it as a side covers. Also available are safety solar lights that can be added to the front columns without running any wires or drilling any holes. Depending on the local AHJ requirements, you can run all the wiring through the columns without external conduit. EV charger is an excellent addition to this, and carport back columns have pre-drilled holes to install the NLX juice box chargers and cables. Now, it is designed and fabricated in the US and comes with a 25-year warranty. The structure is coming with a structural engineer P stamp. You can install up to 24 solar modules with 4 columns of six modules. It's with current modules size, we're talking about over 9 kilowatt per structure. With basic load capacities of 35 pound per square foot of snow load, can be upgraded up to 65 pound per square foot, and 175 miles per hour wind load, and seismic design category E. The two-car carport is 18 feet wide and 18 feet deep with 9.5 feet clearance, and it comes with 5-degree tilt. You can find a 3D model of the tandem carport and the standard standalone carport on the Blickier website. We're sharing a link to it here if you want to play with it and see the different components. We developed online tools for installers to be able to get quick quotes and bill of materials for any projects. You can access the online design and quote tool from our homepage. Simply click the next button and then select the components you would like to quote. You can take a full system or just a specific component. On the next page, you will be able to select the solar modules. There are filters that can help you to select the one that works best for your project. On the next page, you will select the type of installation, and there are several options such as tilted roof, flat roof, carports, and ground mount. I'll select the tilted roof with a trapezoidal metal sheet. As I'm making selections, the bill of materials on the left is being updated, and if you're logged in to your account, your prices will show up as well. I'll create 2 arrays. First array with 2 rows. First row with 6 modules in landscape, and the second row with 10 modules in portrait. Second array, I'll do with another 8 modules in landscape. And you can see the prices updating on the left as I'm doing that. I will select Iron Ridge racking system, S5 for roof attachment, and black rails and clamps. I'll also change the span to 6 feet and the rail to XR100. The system creates general sketch of the array with the dimensions and rail assembly instructions. On the next page, I can select the inverters. And if I want energy storage, I'm selecting here Sol-Ark 15K and the home grid 19.2 kilowatt stacked battery bank. I'll also add monitoring to this. I'm selecting here monitoring and Tigo rapid shutdown. On the last page, I can select balance of system. I will also add two NLX EV chargers, and that's all. After I click finish, I'll see the bill of materials, and I can send myself a quote to my email. And if I'm logged in, it will be saved under my account where I can edit and the quote, print it or email it or make a purchase. See it in a second. This is my account. If you want our sales engineers to weigh in with insight on configuration and availability, you can email the quote number to info@renvu.com, and we can review the bill of materials for you and discuss it with you. Okay, I think we can start now. We have a significant number of participants already. As I mentioned, this webinar is being recorded, and we will upload it to our YouTube channel, and it will be available also as a podcast. We will share the links in the follow-up email. All participants will get up to $200 Visa gift card for every Pylontech Force H1 or L1 you are buying. The details of for how to redeem this will be included in the email as well. If you have questions during the presentation or the Q&A session, use the Q&A button that which makes it easier for us to make sure we answered all questions. Okay, so I think QQ and Greta, I think you can take over now and start sharing your slide deck. I will stop sharing mine.
Okay, thank you, Iris. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, I think you can see my screen, right?
We see your screen.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is QQ Wang, Sales Director of Pylontech. I'm based in Toronto, Canada, and taking care of North American market. Thanks for RENVU to organize this webinar with Pylontech. We are happy to share who is Pylontech and what's the benefit that we can bring to our partners and end users. Here is the content we will take today. Firstly, I will take about 5 to 10 minutes to give you an introduction of Pylontech. Then Greta will do detailed introduction of our high voltage and low voltage batteries. We are really excited to share the information with you today. Now let's start. So Pylontech established in 2009. We started from BMS and LFP cathode material production. After 2 years, we transferred the material production to one of our biggest shareholders, and he has continued doing that manufacturing and it become one of the largest material supplier in China. Then we moved to downstream manufacturing, which is including the battery cells, modules, racks, and the container solutions. Of course, the BMS is still our featured product. In 2014, we started the mass shipment of residential BESS to Europe and Australia. In the next year, in 2015, we started to deploy the large utility scale products for China market. In 2018, we already reached 1 gigawatt-hour shipment of residential BESS. And then the next year, energy storage is getting more and more popular. We easily to expand the capacity with another 1.5 gigawatt hours. A lot of investors starting to follow us. Then we got a public listed in China stock market successfully at the end of 2020. Based on IHS reports, Pylontech ranked as the #1 residential BESS supplier in last year. We just did the news release early this week. We are also honored to be selected by Morgan Stanley Capital Index last year. They only chose the well-performed company on their bucket. And this year, we more focus on keep supporting our partners to grow business and localize the supports. Right now, we are on the process building Pylontech US office. Here is to show our manufacturing base. Our headquarters is based in Shanghai Pudong area. We have R&D center, international sales, marketing, and technical support here. We have 4 manufacturing bases, 2 in Jiangsu province, 1 in Hubei, and 1 new facility is in Anhui province. Total capacity of these 4 facilities is 17 gigawatt hours. Till today, we have delivered more than 1 million systems to over 80 countries. That means our products have been tested and approved by different environmental scenarios. Last year, we also completed ESG audit. We will continue to do ESG every year. Adopting ESG principles means that corporate strategy focus on the 3 pillars of the environment, social responsibility, and governance. This means taking measures to lower pollution, CO2 output, and reduce waste. For example, from now on, all of our new package of batteries will be plastic-free. It also means having a diverse and inclusive workforce at the entry level and all the way up to the board of directors. ESG may be costly and time-consuming to undertake, but it can also be rewarding into the future for those that carry it through. Here to say Pylontech is one of a few companies that have real fully integrated manufacturing chains. We have our own cells, own BMS, modules, system, and container solutions. I believe this is the most advantage could benefit our partners and users. But what does that mean to our partners and users? Firstly, we don't have any supply chain issue. Even in last 2 years, a lot of companies have been suffered for breaching contracts, changing price, even couldn't deliver. But Pylontech, we honored all those contracts we signed. Secondly, it means commitment of safety, reliability, and stability. Because we control the quality from the raw materials all the way down to the system. We know how to mix the raw materials to make a cathode and anode films. We know every batch cells are from same quality control process, which is controllable and traceable. Thirdly, and also very important one, it also gives us long-term business opportunities. For example, if we need to repair or replace battery modules 5 years later, how can we make sure the new battery modules can be compatible with the older system? Same as the off-grid system. A cottage installed a 5 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt hour system today, but some years later, the battery degraded and the capacity is not enough to supply the appliance. We have to add 1 or 2 modules. We need to make sure the new modules will communicate with the BMS or PCS or compatible with the older systems. But for Pylontech, we can say that we don't have that issue at all because we have our own cells and a BMS. Our philosophy from our R&D team is any new version products will cover the older versions. And here to say Pylontech has passed most certificates for different countries, like VDE for Germany market, UL CSA for North American market, and JET for Japanese market. This page, this is a part of the test report from ITP from Australia. They bought batteries from the market randomly and tested it. It takes about 7 years for the whole testing. you see Pylontech, which is the blue lines. We have the best performance after 2000 or 2500 cycles. This is also from the same report. They bought Pylontech batteries since 2017. So the whole testing for our batteries is 5 years. But we can see during all 5 years, during the test, there was no issue at all. This gave us, as sales team or our partners, enough confidence to tell the end users or the buyers, to tell them we are delivering reliable energy storage systems to them. This is the product portfolio for residential BESS. We have 12 volts, 48 volts, and high voltage stackable batteries. 12 volts, I can say that this is the most advanced 12 volts batteries in the market. It has a heating film, it has a Bluetooth app, it also can have 4 in series and a 4 in parallel connection. The maximum could have 16 units in one system. And for the 48 volts, we have 2 types. One is a 19-inch rack mounted. One is this is a paleo. Greta gonna do the detailed introduction. This is a stackable and very easy to do the connection. We also have high voltage. So right now, the Force H1 already compatible with Solis S6 hybrid inverter. And the Force H3, this is our new product. We will release it in June in Intersolar in Germany. We also have batteries for CNI and utility scale projects. Those products could be used up to 1500 volts systems. And we will do separately webinars for high voltage and CNI utility scale projects. So yeah, this is the brief introduction for Pylontech. I will pass to Greta. She will do more detailed introduction of the products. Greta.
Okay, thank you, QQ. I will share my screen now. Our batteries have compatible with most tier 1 inverters. For high voltage batteries, here is the 3 popular brands in North American markets. And I will focus on the Solis later. For the low voltage batteries, this table lists some parts of our compatible inverters, and it includes the Sol-Ark. I would give you more introduction of the high voltage and the low voltage energy storage system. Then let's begin with the high voltage Force H series batteries. The single module of the Force H1 is 48 voltage, 74 amps hour, and the capacity is 48 times 74, which is 3.55 kilowatt hour. And the module size of it is 600 millimeter width, 380 depth, 170 heat. The battery module's single weight is 36 kilogram. For the Force H1, we could configure most 7 battery modules in one system. So the voltage could reach 336 voltage. The capacity would about 25 kilowatt hour. And the width depth is the same as the single battery module. The heat would be 1,380 millimeters heat. The whole system weight would 2,066 kilograms. And there are some features of Force H1 batteries. The installation of it is flexible. they are stackable. The connection of this battery doesn't need any cables. You just stack the battery modules one by one. And the depth of discharge means the real capacity used in the one circle. The largest DOD of the Force H series is 95%, but we recommend our customer to set it as 90% to prevent the over-discharge situation. And the protection level is 55. This could realize the outdoor installation. And then our battery have passed many certifications, and as QQ have introduced that before. The US 9548 tests the cell safety. The UL 1973 tests the whole battery safety. So passing these two standards would, and our products could be able to sold in the North American markets. The Force H1 could configure 3 to 7 battery modules. The wake-up voltage of the single BMS is 90 voltage. If you use two battery modules, the voltage range would from 87 to 108 voltage. If you face the over-discharged situation, the voltage couldn't drop under 90 voltage, so it's better to use at least 3 battery modules. And our Force H1 could be connected in parallel to enlarge the capacity. There are max 6 systems in parallel. And this is the configuration table for the Force H of the single BMS. For 3 battery modules, the voltage range is from 130.5 to 162. The nominal capacity of it is 10.7 kilowatt hour. The usable capacity is nominal capacity times DOD, which is 90%. And for 3 battery modules, it's 9.6. And the rated power is calculated under 37 amps. The peak power for 15 minutes is calculated under 40 amps. The minimum backup time is 1.8 hours. For 7 battery modules, the voltage range is from 304 to the 378, and the nominal capacity reach 25 kilowatt hour. There are some benefits of our high voltage BESS connection, our Force H series. For the capacity, you could choose the capacity from 10.7 to about 150 kilowatt hour. And customer could choose the numbers of battery modules and BMS as their requirements. The single battery module's weight is 36, and one person is able to install it. The installation is really simple. You just stack it one by one. Even a person who don't have the technical background couldn't understand that, but we still recommend let the installer to install these batteries. The IP55 level means it is valuable for the outdoor installation. And it has a good appearance. When I first see the Force H1, I think it doesn't look like a battery. It's more like a cabinet. So it's free. You could install it in a room. And if someone visits your home, seldom of them could recognize that it's a battery. We have the Wi-Fi monitor for 24 hours. The name of it is the Solar Man. And we could monitor the battery status and do some upgrade remotely. if you purchase our batteries, you would have a 10-year standard warranty after registration. Then let's move to the installation of this battery. After purchasing the battery, the customer would receive the numbers of battery modules. And then for the BMS package, they would receive 1 BMS, 2 long mantle brackets, 2 short mantle brackets, 1 base, a pair of power cable to connect the BMS to the inverter, 2 communication cables. One is for connect the BMS to inverter, and another one is for the backup use, and 1 grounding cable, some screws, manual, and a warranty card. There are some requirements of the environment and the location. The battery should be located in the dry place and avoid the direct sunlight. The installation temperature should be between 0 to 50 degrees centigrade. And please avoid soaking in water or at the low-lying place. So it's better to put it above the ground about 300 millimeters. And our battery is heavy, it's over 100 kilograms. So the foundation should be firm well to withstand the weight. And the 4th H series batteries are stacked mounted. So there is no power cable to connect each battery. So look at this green circle. It indicates the connector of the battery and the base. And please do not touch it. It's really dangerous. If you are still worried about the instability of simple stacking, we also provide connecting brackets with the BMS. If you have 5 to 7 battery modules, you could use 2 long brackets and 2 short brackets. If you have 4 battery modules, you could use 2 long brackets. If you have 3 battery modules, you may use 2 short brackets. It depends on the numbers of batteries. And after installation, the battery module, the last one is the BMS. And please tighten the screws for the BMS for safety. The 4th H batteries have 3 grounding points. You just choose one of them to connect it to the AC load grounding cable. And here is the panel interface. Look at this. This is the back side of the BMS. From the left upper side, it is the power switch. And then it's the grounding point to connect it to the AC load. And the red one is the start button. The Wi-Fi antenna could realize the connection to our software SolarMan. We could monitor the battery status and update the firmware remotely. The power terminals could realize the connection between inverters and batteries. There are 5 communication ports on the BMS. The RS485 and the CAN are used to connect to the inverter. RS232 is to connect the BMS to the upper controller. We have another software could monitor the battery status and do other operations. The link 1 and the link 0 could realize the parallel connection of different BMS. This is the front side of BMS. From the left upper place, it is the system status. And then the system capacity, this would show the SOC of the whole system. And on the middle, it's the LED button. On the right, it's the battery module statutes. And if there's some problem on one of your BMS, there will show the abnormal light on it, and you could quick check the faulty battery and ask for help. Before installation the batteries, you have to ensure that the battery is turned off. The power switch should on the right hand. And to make sure that you may use a multimeter to verify the battery voltage is 0. Here is the procedure of power on. First, you have to switch on the power switch from right to left, and then press the red start button for more than 5 seconds or until you hear the buzzer ringing. And the BMS needs 30 seconds for self-checking. You have to make sure that all the communication between inverters and BMS has been built. Otherwise, it would report the extra communication lost and there is no power out. There is a breaker between BMS and inverter. If the breaker is tripped off because of the overcurrent or short current, you have to wait for 10 minutes to turn on it again. Otherwise, it may cause the breaker damage. And during the first time power on, you have to make sure that you fully charge all the battery modules. And there is a tips. If you already have a force H1 system and you want to add more battery modules, you should fully charge the old battery modules. Make sure the voltage of all battery modules is the same, and then add the new battery modules. It's for the safety and for the better performance. And also, it's better to fully charge the whole system every 90 days for the better performance. Then the procedure of the power off. First, turn off the inverter or the power supply on DC side. Then turn off the switch between the PCS and the battery system. At last, turn off the power switch from left to right. In US market, we always use the Solis inverter with force edge batteries. And it is very popular use and it could match perfectly. Look at this table. This is the recommended numbers of minimum battery modules and the inverter mode. This choice depends on the power and the battery series. For example, if you have 7.6K inverter, you could configure 1 BMS and 4 battery modules. But if you just want to use 3 battery modules, it's okay, because when you connect the inverter and the BMS and the batteries, it could build the communication. The battery BMS could let the battery work at the 0.5 C. Our BMS could protect our battery. And if you wish, you could add more battery modules for the specific requirements. This diagram is the connection diagram for Solis S6 and the Force H1 batteries. From the DC side, the BMS is connected to the inverter. There is a pair of power cable and there are DC breaker on it. And for Solis S6, we use the CAN communication. So you have to connect the CAN port to the inverter. And also the PV array is connected to the inverter. From the AC side, the inverter is connected to the load and the grid. There are several scenarios of the inverters, like self-use mode, peak shaving mode, and backup mode. If you want to add capacity and you already have 7 battery modules, you may connect the BMS in parallel, and all the communication cables is connected to the combiner box. And then there is a pair of power cable to connected to the inverter. The first BMS, we call it the master. The master's communication port should be connected to the inverter. And for the connection of each BMS, the link 1 of the first BMS should be connected to the second BMS, and the second BMS link 1 port connect to the third link 0. For the combiner box, we also have 2 choices. If you have 2 or 3 battery modules, you could choose the high voltage 3. And if you have 4 to 6 BMS, you could choose a high voltage 6. It depends on the BMS. After connecting all the cables, you could check the cable connection on the inverter's application. First, select the correct module, Pylontech high voltage, and the communication would be built automatically. Then you will see the whole system in the main screen of the inverter application. And if you want to know more about our battery status, you could use the solar man. And then let's move to another part. I would introduce you our low voltage new product, which was released several months ago, Pylon. This is the parameter of the Pylon. The single battery module of the Pylon is 51.2 voltage, 100 amps hour. So the battery capacity is 5.12 kilowatt hour. The depth of discharge is 95%. And the Pylon could realize the 20 battery modules to connect it in parallel. And the circle life is about 6,000 times at 25 degrees centigrade. The single unit power for continuous use is 5.12 kilowatts. For 15 minutes use, the power is 6.14 kilowatts. For 50 seconds use, the capacity could reach 10 kilowatts. And this battery still have passed many certifications such as IEC, CE, UL, VDE. And the IP rating is 65, which means it could still be used outside. And this is the Pylon's configuration. They are connected in parallel. The usage voltage of them is from 46.4 to 57.6. And for the single battery's capacity, I have introduced before. And for 20 battery modules, the nominal capacity could reach over 100 kilowatt hour. The rated power is calculated under 100 amps. The max power at 50 minutes is calculated under 120 amps. The peak power for 15 seconds is calculated by 200 amps hour, and the minimum backup time of it is 0.95 hours. And here is the advantage of the Pylon. In the market, there are many AC batteries, which means the inverters and batteries are in one box. It's easy to install, but if you want to enlarge the capacity, you have to add the whole system. And it's a kind of waste. And if there's an error on the AC battery, you have to fix the whole system. It means you couldn't use it for a few days. Because the repair or replacement needs time. So compared to this kind of battery, our DC battery, our Pylons are flexible. The capacity is flexible for expanding. It's from 5 to 100 kilowatt hour. When customer purchase the batteries at the first time, maybe they won't buy too many batteries because the investment is high or they have other considerations. But when they use the battery for a long time, they find it's in good performance and they want to add more backup time, or they find the capacity isn't enough. It's really convenient to add the battery modules. And it's also flexible for replacement. If there's a problem with one battery module, you can remove it for repair or replacement, and other batteries will still work. The system would still work. And if we want to build the long-term relationship with our customers, they could use the batteries for many years. They would feel free to add or reduce batteries. The Pylon has good overload capacity. The C rate of it reaches 1C. It is important for the off-grid system. For example, when you turn on air conditioning or some equipment with a large load, there may be a rush current, and the Pylon has a strong power instantly to support the whole system. It has a good appearance and a smaller footprint. It can be installed against the wall, and because it is relevantly thin, it will not have too much impact on the overall decoration of a room. And similar with force edge battery, the Pylon has its own Wi-Fi monitor for 24 hours. And if you purchase our batteries, you will have the 10-year standard warranty. Our low voltage batteries are compatible with the Sol-Ark, includes the US series and UP series. But now I will focus on the Pylon. This table is the recommended minimum battery modules with the different capacity of Sol-Ark inverters. For example, for the 5K Sol-Ark inverter, you could use 2 Pylon battery modules and the total capacity could reach 10 kilowatt hour. If you use 12K inverter, you may use 4 Pylon battery modules and the total capacity is 20 kilowatt hour. And the similar as the force edge batteries, if you want to add or decrease the battery modules, it's free. It's just, this table is just the recommendation. And here is the connection diagram of the system. The Sol-Ark still use the CAN communication with our Pylon. There are a pair of power cable connect the Pylon to the inverter, and the communication cable when you install it, you have to set some settings on the Sol-Ark inverters. First, you have to open the set menu and then select the battery. Then press the shutdown. I recommend you to set the shutdown at 8% and the low battery at 10%. Then press the battery type, which is the lithium battery, and then input the capacity, charge, discharge current according to the battery numbers. You have also to tick the BMS arrow stop. And in the rest of this year, we would participate the 4 exhibitions in the US. You could see the right part of this screen. And the newest one is at May, and we hope to meet you at that time. And thank you for your attention. I hope you could find this section useful. This QR code is, you could scan this QR code and go to our website for the more information. And now you could ask questions if you have some questions.
Thank you, Greta and QQ. Let's start with the Q&A. Let's see. Second. We have a couple questions here. The first one is, what inverters are compatible with this BMS? I assume, let's talk about the high voltage and the low voltage.
For high voltage, we recommend the Solis.
Okay, and low voltage is only Sol-Ark or any other inverters?
For low voltage, actually, we compatible with many. Victron, SMA, Schneider, Lux, Morningstar, SAJ, Growatt, Sol-Ark, and McRival. These are the brands for North American markets. For European, we compatible with a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I think that also Growatt has, in the US, they have only one version that comes with their battery. I don't think they have a standalone hybrid inverter.
I think that is like off-grid and also on-grid. That one, okay. SPF 2000 and 5000 HVM, that version.
Okay. The next question is, when will the commercial high voltage batteries be certified with Sol-Ark 30K and 60K?
Actually, we are in the process to do the compatible testing with them. We are waiting for the samples from them.
Okay.
And when
will they be available for pre-order, and when are they scheduled to arrive in the US?
So we are expecting to receive the samples end of this month. So do the testing 1 or 2 months. So you can start to do the pre-order maybe 8 weeks later. We just want to make sure everything gonna compatible. So for the low voltage, we already compatible, and for the high voltage, because we have our own BMS, it's easy, just do some programming. So we're pretty sure we will be compatible. Just be conservative. You can do pre-order 8 weeks later.
Okay. And for the Pelio and the Force H1, when are these will be available in the US?
Actually, for Force H1 and Paleo, you can do order right now. It's already been tested, and it's ready to sell.
Okay. So I think that Solis have a lead time of July to release their S6 hybrid inverters. So until then, we will need to wait also with the batteries. But Sol-Ark is available right now. As I mentioned, they also have their EMP versions available for the 15K and 12K. So the Telio can be ordered now with a short shipping lead time. Besides that, we are ready. The next question is, which third-party inverter combinations is Pylontech high voltage and low voltage UL 9540 certified?
For high voltage, for Sichuan is Solis S6. Low voltage, we are in the process doing with the Schneider for North America, but we're gonna also apply to do with Sol-Ark. That's already on our agenda.
I think we answered that. Next question from Kelly. Are your high voltage battery system compatible with Dynapower bidirectional inverters?
Actually, we are we talking with some customers for the CNI projects. They are using Dynapower, but those projects moving a little bit slow. No one initiated the process yet, but if you have the projects ongoing, like us to do the compatible testing with Dynapower, we can start in that. We just need the clients to initiate the compatible testing. We are open. We are very glad to send. We are willing to send samples to them or receive their samples to do the testing at our lab.
Next question from Kelly is about lead times. So Kelly, the low voltage are available for, and the high voltage are available for order. There is a shipping lead time, probably of at least 35 to 45 days.
For the manufacturing, lead time is 6 to 8 weeks.
We have and manufacturing plus 6 to 8 weeks, and
plus
so
the
additional 4. So about 10 to 12 weeks lead time at the moment.
Yes.
Victor is asking how many batteries you can connect in parallel with the low voltage battery Helio.
We can connect the 20 battery modules in parallel, and the capacity could reach 100 kilowatt hour.
Sounds good. Great. So thanks, QQ and Greta, for sharing your knowledge. If you have additional questions, you can email us at info@renvu.com. We will be able to share more information and pricing. As I mentioned before, this webinar is being recorded, and we will send you a link in a follow-up email for the YouTube channel and podcasts. We will also include several offerings on that email for the Pylontech batteries and all the data sheets and information that we shared here today. Again, thanks for joining us today, and thanks QQ and Greta. We will work on the recording and email it to you in the next few days. Have a great rest of your week, everybody, and successful month. See you soon.
Thank you, Iris. Thanks, everyone.